Good morning, welcome in to Studio 5, where we are diving right into a topic that makes even the most confident practice parent squirm just a bit. We jokingly refer to it as the big talk or the birds and the bees, but those cute references aside, most modern day parents have swallowed the fact that if you don't talk to your kids about sex, the world will get to them first. But more than just saying the words, my first guest believes your tone and your own comfort level will communicate more than words could ever say. Studio 5 contributor Dr. Julie Hanks wants more moms to step up and be a sex-positive parent. Now, I say that phrase, sex-positive parent, you know red flags kind of start to fly. So let's start with the definition. What is a sex-positive parent?
A sex-positive parent is a parent who is comfortable with their own sexuality and who guides their child to develop healthy attitudes toward their body and sexuality.
And that sounds good by blanket definition. What are the lingering benefits of taking that attitude and tone?
The lingering benefits are that your child is prepared to express their sexuality in healthy ways. They are not inhibited when it's appropriate. They don't have excessive shame or guilt. I mean, there's so many great benefits.
And this becomes part of that goal to have you be the source for your kids, right? And
exactly.
Not the outside world or the outside media.
Exactly. You want to be the one to teach your child about sexual issues, and because you want to share your family's values and make sure that they know how to use that power and that expression in a way that'll help them instead of hurt them.
I know a lot of fantastic parents, confident parents who have gone through child 1, child 2, child 3, and I don't know a parent that this conversation doesn't scare a little bit. So bottom line, why is this so hard for us?
Because our parents didn't talk to us. I mean, I posted this on Facebook, Brooke, and there's this great discussion going on. And I said, what do you wish your parents had done differently? And they're just like, oh, the biggest thing was just talk about it, Our generation, parents didn't talk about it at all. So it's like, just having an open conversation, I think, is really, really helpful.
You've got some guiding principles that will be really helpful to all parents. First, I know a lot of parents stew about an appropriate age. When is the right time to have the talk? You're throwing that concern out the window because you say it needs to happen before the kids can even talk.
Right. So attitudes toward bodies and sex, that starts at birth by how you respond to their bowel movements or to them running around in the street naked, Do you shame them? Do you get in here, don't, that's not okay. Or do you say, ew, gross? Kids absorb those messages, your tone of voice, or are you celebrating? Oh, your body works so well, or your body is so healthy. Look at this, it's beautiful. Giving positive messages about the function and the use of their bodies.
As kids grow up and our need to expand the vocabulary and the education grows as well, you don't want parents to stage this as a big out for ice cream event, one big talk.
So my philosophy on this is that it's ideal to make it an unfolding discussion, not an event. So here's an example. We don't say, okay, have you had the talk with your child? Do they know that letters actually spell words? Have you told them that yet? Oh my gosh. And that reading is going to add so much value to their life. That sounds ridiculous, but we do that with sexuality. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. It's so important. So you can lay this foundation of conversations early on. Oh, wow, you're different than me, Mommy. It's like, oh, yeah. And you say, well, you have a penis, and I don't. I have a vagina and a vulva, and it's different. I have breasts, and yours are smaller. And you start talking about the differences using correct terminology, and it just kind of builds from there.
Now, you're practiced at that terminology, so it rolls off the tongue a little easier than I think for most. How can parents themselves get more comfortable with this type of conversation?
Well, start saying the words. I mean, even if you're by yourself, just say the word without, without
flinching,
laughing,
cringing.
Or cringing. Talk to friends, talk to your spouse or partner about it. And a lot of people who have unresolved trauma, this is particularly difficult, and if that's the case, go get therapy, because that will impact your ability to help guide your child to healthy sexuality.
Where do you think parents go wrong with this conversation, with this topic?
Shame and overreaction. So an example, let's see, maybe you're at at Costco and your 9-year-old has their hand down their pants, or your 7-year-old, whatever.
It happens.
You just go, oh my gosh, don't stop it. That's, you know, if you're, that's gross, that's dirty. You don't want to send that message. Say, hey, you know what? It's not okay to do that in public.
Calm.
So, yeah, hey, let's move your hand. Hey, let's go, you know, why don't you hold this toy?
Yeah, distraction.
And just make it normal and not this loaded, like you're bad, you're wrong for wanting to touch your genitals.
Right. I think we're definitely seeing this generational shift. You mentioned like my mother's generation, for example. They were more closed, private, almost shut off about this topic.
Yeah.
My observation, though, is as the media gets looser, as culture gets looser, it's almost like that pendulum is swinging the other way. And in an attempt to be cool and comfortable, we're almost tipping the scale to disrespectful or insensitive toward this idea of sex that in some religious contexts and cultures should be sacred and special. So how can we be a sex-positive parent without crossing that line?
Yeah, that's a great, great question. And I think the answer to that is providing the relational context and the goal, like what is the why about sexual feelings and bodily pleasure? Why? And you know, in my family, I've taught my children it's to share that experience with someone else. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, and to create other human beings. That's a powerful thing, and that's why it feels good, and that's why you have, you know, that's why you have different genitals. And I mean, it just, you put it in a context, so it's not just this thing we don't talk about, this shame or dirty or, you know, don't say anything.
You tie it to the relationship.
You
and
tie
the
it to the relationship, the purpose, and it helps create attachment to another human being, and a way to express that love.
Really
so the
helpful.
Context is important.
Really helpful, Julie. Thank you so much. We're going to push pause. When we come back, we're going to put these principles into action. Julie answers your real-life parenting questions, what to say in the heat of the moment, and I'll admit some of these questions will make you swallow hard. They did me. Also, I'm back with Studio 5 contributor and owner of Wasatch Family Therapy, Dr. Julie Hanks. She just taught us what it means to be a sex-positive parent. Great information, but we wanted to take it kind of a step further and put those principles into practice. We have some parent questions sent in from viewers, some from your clients. I'll set up the situation and you jump in with the execution.
Okay.
Gosh, I'm glad I'm not answering these questions. I'm just saying. All right, this first one comes from Candace. She said, my 11-year-old daughter recently found a drawer with my lingerie, brought it to me and asked, what's this? I froze, sharply said, put it back where you found it. I know I didn't handle it right, but what would be a better way to respond? Oh, big gulp.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be. You go, oh, you know what? That is something that I wear that's really special. And I wear that in times with just me and Dad.
Easy enough.
Yeah, or me and whoever, you know, whoever it is, whoever the partner is.
All right, my red face is subsiding. See, you made it easy.
It's like, it's totally normal.
It's okay.
Yeah. It's a normal part of life. And the more comfortable parents are, the less shame, guilt, and weird stuff is going to develop with the kids.
We probably make it too complicated. That was a very simple explanation.
Oh yeah, that's a special thing that I wear just with Dad or whoever. Yeah.
All right, this next one is a big one too. It comes from Wendy. She said, my 4-year-old daughter has been masturbating at bedtime and I don't know how to handle it. What do you suggest? You say this is actually pretty common.
I get this question a lot and it freaks parents out.
Sure.
First of all, it's totally normal for kids to discover, oh my goodness, there's parts of my body that feel especially good. So the first thing is normalize the pleasure. Yeah, that does feel good. Yeah. Okay, there are certain times, you know, if it's in public, of course you want to say, you know what, that's something you do in private. Depending on your family's values, you want to maybe put some context around that. But 4 is so little. That's just part of a normal part of development.
So to a 4-year-old then, you say obviously not in public, but how do you handle the 4-year-old mentality if it is not within your family values in the privacy of your own home?
You just say, you know what, that's something that's really special that you're going to share someday with someone that you love. But the thing is, parents think if I shame them, then if I make them feel bad, they won't do it. The opposite happens, and it becomes this like secret thing that, you know, we can't talk about, Does that make sense?
Yeah. So there's a way to communicate we don't do that without necessarily pointing out this is wrong.
Right. And I wouldn't even, for a 4-year-old, I wouldn't even say we don't do that.
Really?
I'd just say, you know what? That's something that I'd rather you don't do, and here's why. But it's up to you. So you want to give the child no shame is like the biggest thing.
Can we really give a 4-year-old a choice with that, though? I mean, is that really an option?
Totally. I mean, they have a choice to do it.
That's true.
Right? And so giving them, saying permission, like, yeah, this is something, this is why. You know, sometimes that can become a habit, or, you know, in our faith, we believe that that's to be, you know, shared with someone else. But yeah, it does feel good. And I can't tell you, Brooke, how many couples come into my office and it's like they have no idea about like what their genitalia look like, what feels good, what, you know, what's supposed to happen during sex. So it's normal to explore your own body.
We know that proper terminology is important. With a 4-year-old, do you name it? Do you give those terms and give that description with a mind as young as 4?
Yeah, and you just say, and you know what? This is something that parents like to talk to their kids about. So it's not something you want to talk about at preschool.
Okay, can we do one more? 30 seconds or less?
Sure.
Sorry,
okay.
Quick. Joni wrote in saying, I just found out from a neighbor that my 16-year-old son is having sex. I'm devastated and a little angry because it goes against the values I've tried to teach him. Should I approach him? And if so, what should I say?
Yes, at that point, it becomes a health issue. When you find out your child is having sex, you approach them, you talk about safety, I mean, you can get STDs, pregnancy, all those kind of things. So at that point, their safety comes first. And yes, you approach, and yes, you talk about, you know, you can say, yeah, this is not what I would choose for you, and let's make sure you're safe.
You can restate the values as you see them, but then move forward with the health concerns.
Right.
All right.
That becomes a health issue.
Super helpful. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
you have
Brooke.
more resources on your website.
Yeah, wasatchfamilytherapy.com. I will be posting some great links to books and other resources for anxious parents.
Fantastic. And they're out there.
Yes.
I think I'm going to be one of them, but this helps. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brooke.
All right.